Hello and welcome. Today we're talking with Marcel Riwalsky. Marcel is our expert in aviation communication and networking. After his successful career in automotive and consulting industry, Marcel shifted all his knowledge and passion into a totally new field, aviation information. He is the author, he's the founder of the biggest platform for the European aviation industry when it comes to sharing information in the media and networking. Aviation-Event. Aviation-Event are clearly events all over Europe in a very amazing locations. They bring experts in the field, they share their insights and allow networking. Hello, Marcel.
Hi.
Marcel, how did you get into aviation? Because you've been working for big companies that like BMW, so they already were involved in in communication and transportation. But why aviation?
Actually, I came in by passion. It was kind of desire of me since I was studying, and somehow I went for something else. You know how things are sometimes. And in the consulting industry, where I have been in for like more than 15 years, traveling is a key part. And if you work for a worldwide consultancy in a consultancy firm at the time, which was part of BMW Group, even more. So I was like a super frequent flyer, to be clear, yeah. And this from using air travel, passion became to working in it and pushing it, and that's why I decided to launch my own operations after my career in that large group. And Aviation-Event was founded to be originally to be an event, and then somehow we transformed it in as you said, in a media and communication platform, which is present by live events, still the core of the whole thing, but we are also doing a lot of communication virtually and digitally, and being present and several media with several media firms and to distribute the wealth of aviation world. That's what we do.
That's very beautiful. Some people, when they move into their passion, they follow their passion, they want their passion to become their business, they lose their passion. Did you manage to maintain the love for aviation even in such difficult circumstances like now?
Yeah, let's say thank you for the question, because yeah, sometimes the realistic things achieving coming to you, and then it becomes a bit more day-to-day business for sure. And you can't just live out of passion every day and make the things as beautiful as you wish they are. It should be. But yeah, passion is still there. That's why I'm a bit impatient in these days, as you can imagine, because wanting to fly again. Yeah, the passion is still there. And there's nothing better than an airplane on a runway with both engines at full blast, you can imagine.
That's beautiful, and I love it too. So we absolutely share this.
Or maybe 4 engines, sometimes 4 engines, but most
depending on the type, on the aircraft.
Probably in the future, it will be more 2 engines. To be honest, that's what the way it's going to be.
Yeah, everything is changing and developing. That's normal course. Marcel, I want to ask you, how do you help now people within your expertise, within your field of expertise, communication and networking in aviation industry? How does that translate into the help and the benefit for others?
Well, let's say in normal times, and leave that ongoing crisis out. I think that was your question. In normal times, we are trying to push information and also entertainment of things which are happening in aviation industry to people who would not be in the industry. So we're not trying to make Catholic people more Catholic. Still, obviously, anybody of the industry is welcome at our events and at our websites and in our social media channels, and they are massively there, obviously. But our mission is beyond. That's why I'm saying it. Our mission is beyond to get as much information out of the industry to, let's say, normal people, to, let's say, media group and media channels which are not dealing every day just with transport or aviation industry. That's why we call ourselves platform for media and communication. And if you see our slogan there, it's media hub for aviation industry, and that's exactly what our mission is, to bring good news, or let's say realistic news, out of the industry to as many people out of the industry as possible. And we are using for that many media partners in many European countries, and trying to convince them not only to report about aviation when something negative happens, but also positive things. And that's our mission.
I'm so glad that you've mentioned that, because this is optimism, sharing also realistic and optimistic news, and because news as we know it in majority, they tend to get very excited about negative news and just spread it out, and it doesn't provide a realistic outlook, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody who knows a bit in media knows what you just were talking about. Media companies are companies. That means they need to make their money, as you and me. So I'm not blaming anybody here, but things are working like they work. And if you have headlines, you want to have headlines, and if they're pretty much negative, it sells. Sometimes to push the whole thing a bit in another direction and report positive things. Report about let's say the positive smell of aviation industry. Yeah, and I'm always saying aviation is still sexy. And yes, we are not a kind of news agency only. We are, but we are also an entertainment company, because we do infotainment to make things as smooth as possible for observers which are not working in our industry.
It's a very important mission, and I strongly support your mission, because it's very important not only to give people the real information, but also to share the positive messages, because staying optimistic, especially in difficult times, just like the times we're going through now, is very important. And that leads me to the next question I have for you. From your experience, you have a vast professional experience and a very good outlook on aviation industry. From your perspective, what is your advice on coping with stress and anxiety?
Well, to be honest, I thought I have some, as you say, advices. Managing this company, the startup here, having done some other things professionally before, and managing some other things in my lifetime, which I have done. Yeah, so I was calling myself pretty much, let's say, stress resistant. Yeah, I can really, without being too self-confident here, I can tell you that. But what happens here since about 2 months, that wasn't in my scope at all, probably for most people, and where all these recipes about stress management comes somehow to its limits somehow, I would say so. Yeah, that's why I'm just asking people to be in these times especially, be more patient than usually. I can tell you it's the hardest ever exercise I'm doing, because that's not the strongest things I'm doing, being patient. Yeah, and just to get used to the fact that for the next couple of months, I'm not talking about years. Yeah, I'm not saying like world will change, everything will be different. I'm not at all believing in that, in these things. But for the next couple of months, and it could be more than 3 months. Yes, we're living in a total kind of uncertainty, and we don't. If I talk for aviation industry, nobody knows how quick the industry will recover, including travel industry. Nobody has any idea. Is that going to be a jump start in summer or after summer? Yeah, I think that's the earliest that we can talk about. And or is it going to be a slow start, which will take up to a year, 12 months, or even more? That's the question which I cannot answer today. So your question leaves me in these times a bit helpless, to be honest.
Patience, that's a very good ingredient. Do you have any personal tips or suggestions how to exercise patience? For example, in my life, one of the biggest teachers of patience in my life has been yoga practice.
I'm not in this one. I tried, but it's not, somehow it's not for me. Maybe
It's
I
not
had the
for
wrong teacher.
everyone
I
and
don't know.
doesn't have to
Yeah,
be.
maybe I had the wrong teacher or the wrong attitude. I don't know. But I'm I'm practicing bicycling and soccer. Yeah, bicycling is something to be done alone. Yeah, but, can do. But I'm doing it alone, to be honest. And soccer is a team thing, so I have both sides in my leisure program somehow. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And the other thing is, because sport, or as you say, yoga is one thing, but you can't do sport all day, you can't do yoga all day, so that somehow you're back at your desk, and then you need to be operational and practically operational. What I'm trying to do is develop now new projects, visions, and work on them, and that's somehow occupy myself and use this time, which seems to be a bit useless, and it is somehow, all these weeks, ongoing weeks here, use these times and weeks to get some new ideas, to have some crazy and fancy ideas, even if half of them would never be realized. At least you develop kind of vision for yourself and occupy yourself with something which makes sense, and just not staring at a TV set or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's very
That's
good
how I do.
advice. Very good, and it's very practical, and I think it can help a lot of people. You know, to change the perspective on this time. Okay, you cannot do certain things, but just focusing on what you can actually do.
Not only on existing ones which are already there, just doing some new stuff, or thinking beyond limits, in which in normal daytime you wouldn't do, because you're just too occupied, you're just too much taken by daily business. And as we can speak frankly here, I think as daily business is, at least for a limited time, totally out, new horizons may be opened by new thinking. That's what I'm saying.
Very well said, and yes, thank you for that. It's very valuable, Marcel. Um, What other personal recommendation would you like to share when it comes to managing change? Because this is what is happening actually right now, and you know, in business or in politics, we know it, or in just in life, you know, everything will always be changing. So, what is your take on the best way of managing the change?
Yeah, I don't think that these recipes changed so much because of that time we are going through. Because as you were saying, change is an ongoing challenge. If you're managing business, if you manage it on your own company, or if you are an employee somewhere in a larger company, probably when you're managing your own thing, or your kind of management position, you are more like actively designing change, obviously. And if you in a larger organization, probably you are more executing whatever others would decide for you to change. Yeah, but still, I think the time of being just employed in one single company for a lifetime, I don't think that's our generation anymore. For
Mm-hmm.
good or for bad, it's a fact. Yeah. And but the current crisis didn't bring this up. It was like this before. Maybe managing this crisis, it will get even stronger to be able to have visions and change these visions to daily business. But basically, for me, I'm not feeling like the world would change. Um, I'm not feeling like business life would change completely. Just we need to face the fact that we probably have a kind of economic decrease, which in dimensions which we couldn't imagine. And if, like in aviation business now, nobody flies anymore, it's just recession and no change management. Because what would you like to do with non-flying aircraft? You just need to cover the period, wait and hope and prepare yourself for better times. But it comes to an end, like recipes comes to an end. When you partly airlines trying to cope that with using the aircraft for freight transport. That's this kind of change management, unimaginable just weeks before. Now they're doing it, yeah. But that this only can cover in our industry a bit of that recession we have.
Yeah.
And basically, it's about standing there, hoping for better times and getting prepared when things are going off again. That's the only thing you can do. But I don't think there is the recipe to stand this crisis, because if there would be, we wouldn't have the crisis.
Getting prepared. From my perspective and the amount of time I've observed you working and collaborated with you, you are very good at planning and setting out plans and executing them. What would be your last tip to close this wonderful interview? Your personal tip for planning, for people who have to lay out the plan for a new project, for to manage the current situation, whatever it might be. What is the crucial ingredient that has to happen when you're planning?
In normal times, yeah, things are happening here. At least I can speak for me and our team here, in a pretty much German way, or it sounds like a German way, like the perfect planning and the long-term planning. It's a bit also because if you want to have many high-ranked people to be involved in something, which we are obviously doing, or at least trying to do, then you need to have a long planning process, yeah. Because if you want to have these people live on stage, everybody wants to have the same people, then obviously if you come too late or if you come on short term, it wouldn't work. So we are used to long-term cycles somehow. Again, it sounds very German. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe it's the industry. Maybe it's just because we are touching almost, for our speakers, almost all the time CEO level. And again, these people, you just don't call them and they come the next day for obvious reasons. Yeah. So this is why our planning process normally starts. Yeah. And that's why we know pretty much what we are doing in 1 year ahead normally. Yeah. That's what's our process is now. Things have changed, and for this year, a second large live event, which we are going to be the production company of, has to be postponed. One was already, the next one just follows, yeah, because the infrastructure on which our business is based is just not there anymore. A very unusual situation. It's legal stuff, it's travel stuff, it's minimum distance stuff. It's many things which are just killing our usual way of working. So that's why we need to adapt. And basically, we are doing what everybody's doing, trying to postpone business for later. That's what we are trying to do. Not to abandon, not to leave something behind, but just pushing it to a later stage. Will it work? We will see. Future will show us, yeah. Because if everybody just pushes, I don't know if this is a good idea. So maybe some things will also be canceled in the future. We have to see, or we just overskip 2020 and start with the same thing in 21. That's also an idea. Just leave it out. Economically, it's a disaster, obviously, but communication-wise, it could be a good idea. We have to see. For the moment, we are only postponing tactics, yeah. But maybe depends on how long the crisis is going to be, and we are not depending on one single country. We are not depending on just countries in the European Union. We are a bit depending on global issues. And if USA or Brazil or some other large players be shut down for a much longer time, and then Europe is, because Europe is the lockdown is going to end somehow. At least we have the feeling it comes to an end somehow. In other continents, they're just starting with that. So you see, that's our main problem, that we don't have that we don't have our home market only, we have at least European, if not global, approach, which makes things damn difficult.
I wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit more and maybe invite people for the upcoming event. You have several of them. I don't know which one you want to highlight, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, then I would go for the highlight, as you said. The highlight is our yearly aviation event. As you said, we have many of them. Aviation and security, aviation event, cargo freight, whatever. These kind of things, we all have them, yeah. But I want to highlight our yearly event, which was planned, as I was saying before, for 9th of June, but can't be there at all. So we have to postpone it for beginning of December. It will probably be 1st of December or 4th of December. So very unusual for us. We have never been in winter with these kind of things, which doesn't matter too much. I'm just saying it. So that will happen in Vienna, at Vienna Airport, beginning of December, as I said. And there will be, on a whole day, there will be like 30 CEOs of aviation industry. And when I'm saying aviation industry, I also mean not only airlines and airports, which is the classical approach. Yeah? I mean also other kind of companies being around, handling companies, caterer, service companies, IT companies, whatever. This is all aviation industry. Ground transport partially is there. Yeah. And many other people being there, many other companies. And at this day and beginning of December, you can see then from today on, it's more than 6 months, yeah, more than 7 months from today, you can probably see then where the industry is standing at the border to go to 2021. Yeah. To be honest, do I know today the agenda of our own aviation event in 7 months? No. Because as you were saying before, this is the change here. We need to manage the change of challenges for the industry and the change of the world, of the economic situation in the world. So today, we can almost guarantee that people which are on our website, on the agenda, would come there. And we can almost guarantee for everybody. But I can't guarantee about what they would speak that day. That's open.
Exactly. And there's still,
and this is new for us. This is new for us.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's going to be a big lesson to all of us, and I think therefore that can create even more interest because a lot of people would like to find out, like how did the airline manage, what did they do, what are the lessons, what to avoid, etc. So I can feel it's going to be a very informative and exciting event.
Yeah, even the people organizing the event don't know what's going on there, kind of content-wise. I mean, we have the organization like usual, there's no change, but we have the media partners, we have the speakers, as I said, we probably have many guests there, all like usual. But today, if I invite you, I can't tell you, even not what the opening keynote will be about. And this is new.
This is new, and that's the beauty. We're all learning, and that gives us the chance for further expansion. Marcel, thank you so much for sharing all your tips on managing difficult situations, on staying positive, on being resilient, and I wish you all the best. And I'm looking forward to the aviation event.
Thank you very much for having me here, and see you there.
Thank you, Marcel.